All right, we're back at it. Len has been working hard at getting the bolts and everything off the box. We have to take that box off. There's a brand new box, almost brand new, in the back corner of the garage. Maybe we'll take a peek at that before we're done. But today, what we want to do is get this thing off of here. So, haven't introduced him before, but this is Len, and this is his project. It's his project truck. I talked about it in the first video we did. And then I've got Guy. You guys have seen Guy before. He's working on this project too. And Ohm. Len brought Ohm here because we need some extra muscle. So he's going to provide the muscle. So let's get started, guys. I showed a picture of this truck in the first video. This is a really nice truck. It is virtually rust-free. There's a few little spots. The biggest problem with this one right now is this box. I want to get a closer look at this. At first, I thought this was maybe nicer than the box that I had. This is, it's got a floor. Okay, so that's the best part. But everything else about this box is probably far worse than any of the boxes I had my hands on. It's been worked hard. You can see the waves in the floor. It's got a couple of huge metal plates welded in. This box is from a working truck, and it has really done its time. And it's time to take it off now. So the plan here is we're going to lift it up. We've got a trailer out there just to keep it easy. We're going to roll the trailer in, and that box is just coming up off of here and onto the trailer. So let's get going on that now.
Okay, glad to hear you say that.
Great. Scoot it forward. And
That's all further this
oh, that's all that'll, okay.
Yeah.
That'll work.
Oh.
The rear cross member on Len's truck is definitely not original. It looks like it was just a big heavy piece of C-channel that was welded in when they put that bumper on. So we cut that apart as part of taking the bumper off and started looking for a factory cross member. This is a picture of what that factory cross member is supposed to look like. So you'll notice that there is a hole just to the left of center, and that would be for the PTO if you have one. And then we've got a couple of cross braces too that run to either side of the frame. I got this cross member at French Lake Auto, and they actually were able to save not just the cross member, but the rear braces, and they did a good job of not damaging anything as they took it apart. Here's the rear cross member and those braces after I cleaned them all up. I used a paint stripping wheel and a grinder, a wire wheel, a drill with a wire wheel on it, and then I finally finished up with some rust converter. And I think we're ready to go with this now. The rear cross member is attached to the frame by rivets. So there would be 1, 2, 3, and then 4 on the underneath there. Now at French Lake, when they took this apart, I asked them to be real careful not to damage any of this. And so rather than hitting it with a torch or anything else, let me show you this. They just torched the frame. So this was attached like this when I picked it up. And all I had to do then was get a grinder and just grind these rivets out and drive them out. So this is what these rivets are supposed to look like when they're on the frame. And I started thinking about what I was going to do with this because I don't have the equipment to drive in new rivets like this and get them to mushroom out. So what I think I'm going to do instead is use a carriage bolt to get in there. I've got a 3/8 carriage bolt here. And so you can see it's a little bit bigger. Let me put it right next to this. You can see it's a little bit bigger than this, but I think I can modify a carriage bolt so that it'll look the same as this. So this is my plan. I want to get my carriage bolt in there, but you can see the shoulders on this carriage bolt catch this. I don't really want to get in. There's a lot of these holes I have to do. I don't want to get in with a square file and square this off. So what I'm going to do instead is get this square part off of the carriage bolt so it'll drop all the way down in. And then what I'm going to do is just basically bolt this thing up. And then what I'll do is weld, kind of tack this in, weld it in a few spots so that it stays in place. And then I probably will run a bead of weld on the between the frame and the cross member here too, so it's nice and secure. This is my arsenal of tools I'm going to use for this job. Now, if you're a machinist, you might want to look away for this segment because I am not a machinist. I'm not very skilled at using a lathe, but I can make it work. So this is an old Craftsman Atlas lathe, and it's going to get the job done. And I'm going to use a couple of angle grinders as part of this process. Here's how we're going to go about this. I'm going to check this up in here, right about there. And the first thing I want to do is take this angle grinder. It's got a fairly, bring it up here, a fairly square edge. I want to put this on here just to round this shoulder off on the carriage bolt so that slips through the hole. Then what I want to do is come in with my lathe and shave this down to the right diameter so that the head is the right size. And then when I finish that, we're going to use a flap disc and we're going to get this reshaped. And you can also see there's some stampings in here. We're going to use a flap disc to take those stampings out. And in the end, this should look just like a rivet. Going to set up a caliper here so I can measure the diameter of this and make sure I turn it down to the right size. Okay, that'll do it. Let's give it a try. Fits in there nice. And I think just looking at these, it could fool anybody. So now I just need to make up 15 more of these for all the different rivets that I need to do. Here's all 16. I put nuts on them so I don't lose those. They're going to drop in just like that. So I think we're ready to go. Once the bed is off of this truck, we were able to see a couple more welds on that big rear bumper that we missed. So we cut those and worked and worked and worked, and we finally got them. Now, Len's been working on cleaning up that frame so we can get the new rear cross member in, and this is what he found. It looks like they've got a little tab that they actually welded in there, so that's got to come out. And we're going to replace the rear end of that, at least the part that's been cut away, with these spare parts that I've got on hand now. I got these a little bit more cleaned up and straightened it out. It was a little bit bent. And now this is this is what the frame will look like when this comes in. And then these rivet looking bolts will go in like this, 4 of them. All right, before we can do much with this, there was a big chunk of this that had to go away because of that C-channel. They didn't leave the entire frame, so we got to reproduce this. And I showed you earlier that we saved these pieces, and they're going to go on just like that. Len left it long so we can get this to the right length, but
This is what
I'll show you what this is what he cut off of there. So there really was nothing for us to use. Now, before he took that off, he did take some measurements and he made up some devices. Maybe you can explain how this whole thing works, Len.
I was trying to make it as easy as possible for Tim. So when I had the other parts on here, I knew an exact spacing for the holes. So I put this one here, and then this one lines up with this hole once he cuts it.
Yep.
And then I have a top version that goes here, and it'll line up with that. So it'll be perfectly.
Yeah, we got to make sure that that frame is the same length as when we started, right?
Yeah, yep. But this will make it perfect for fitting.
Good. Looks good. We're working on the frame right now. We just cut this to length. And we'll show you how these little guides that Len built are going to make sure that this piece we weld on is exactly where it belongs. Okay, here we go. So I know we made the right cut. Now it's just a matter of beveling this thing, clamping it in place, and getting it welded in. All right, we're good. All right, we got the frame ends welded on. We need to do some grinding to clean these up right here. But they do line up with Ken's little devices, or Len's little devices we got to get them hooked up. All right, now we can just try to fit that thing. All right, are we ready?
Yes.
Let's see at the bottom. Any oil?
Oh, let's see.
Try now.
Try going down.
You should be able to come up. There you go.
Oh, okay. Okay. It went easy now. Oh, there. It popped.
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
Okay.
Now release it, and then we need to just tap this one up. There.
Yeah.
That's there. Have a little bit of a hammer.
Yep. You get Big ones, small ones,
Big.
big ones.
Yeah, one of those.
Sledgehammers.
Yeah, now try, we come in through these ends right here. And it looks like, yeah, try that, we might be there on those now. Oh, that was easy.
No, that looks just like original.
Well,
Look at that.
we're gonna fake them out.
Hey.
Yeah, it helped to have an original piece. All we had to do was get it lined up, so you don't have to worry about holes. At least the holes in relationship to each other in the right place.
Yeah.
This one. Hopefully this lines up. Yeah, we're there.
Look at that.
Now we got the cross braces handy.
Yeah, they're right to your right. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, that. Flip it over. And I don't remember which way those go. Whether it goes. Yeah, that must be how it goes. Otherwise, water would catch in it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Except, yeah. Okay.
All right, the plan for today is to get this engine running. There's a fair amount to do here, but it's the engine isn't frozen up. Len, when's the last time this ran?
1995.
95. But I think we have every reason to believe we're going to have it running again today. This is not like we've gone out into a farm field to get a frozen engine going. This one should start up if we do things right.
No, I backed it in there and everything before I started working on my brakes, so everything was working.
Okay. What do they say? Ran when parked. So we'll find out if that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to start by getting the air cleaner and the carb off. I've got a rebuilt carb in here, so we're going to throw that on. We're going to find out how well we did on the rebuild. But have guy get started on taking this stuff off. I can smell that bad gas right now. Carb's going on.
You're putting on a new one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that came off of my parts truck, and I rebuilt it thinking if we were going to try to get that parts truck engine running, and it turns out the engine just wasn't worth fiddling with. But I've got this.
Does that one work? Have you tested it?
No.
Oh, so
No, this is so we get to test it.
Okay.
All right, before we get the carb on now, and before we do anything else, we're going to check for spark. So, Len, you want to do the honors?
Right.
Make sure you flip the key on and. No spark.
There's no spark?
We may not have a good ground. I don't know. Let's bring it around over the top.
Does that sound like
Yeah, there's no gas in the carb anyway, so we'll we're gonna live dangerously here, but there's no gas in that carb, so it's not gonna light anything up.
Ready?
Yep. Okay, we're checking voltage right now. This right here, Len made this. This is Len's homemade meter. It does voltage continuity. That's pretty cool.
AC, DC, everything.
Everything. So we're just checking for voltage right now.
You got voltage on that side?
Okay, we established we have spark. We've got our temporary gas tank set up here. We're feeding fuel. We tested it. The accelerator pump is working. I'm seeing fuel. So I think the next thing here to do is to try to start it and see what it wants to do. Okay, it's choked. I say contact.
Ready?
Yep. Whoa, there we go. It wants to go. Okay, hold on. All right, we cleaned up the points again. We're gonna give it another try.
Ready?
Okay. Here we go. Oh, it wants to run. Hold on, let's let the battery, or let the...
More?
Want me to dump a little fuel down there? Okay. Okay.
Okay, Chip.
Gauge isn't showing anything, but probably the gauge.
Oh wait, there it is.
Yeah, it's on zero.
Zero. The ammeter's working. Okay.
Woo! It's alive. Is it idling? Okay. So one thing I didn't do last time that I said I was going to do is show you this box. So this is a box that Lynn picked up that is in absolutely perfect condition. And when I say perfect, it's not brand new, but if you've been shopping for boxes for these trucks, you'd know why this is perfect. So this is going to go on the truck. And then the other bonus in here is he's got one really nice tailgate, and he's got two more tailgates. One of his spare tailgates still has a Willys script on it. The other does not. So if there's anybody out there that's looking for a tailgate, get in touch with me, and maybe we can work out something. Okay, we're going to do a quick recap here on this work day. We're going to knock off now. So let's start at the top. We got the truck running. The carb is pretty questionable. We might have some vacuum leaks, but we know it runs good. No funny sounds. So I think we're on our way with that. Lynn's got some work to do as far as we got a leaking water pump. So this can go on the table for now, but that's got to be dealt with. And but otherwise, I think mechanically we're on our way here, and we got all this done now. We got this rear cross member mounted. Now we didn't tighten everything because that's got to come back apart for cleanup. But everything fit up. We've got our cross braces in. Those look good. And then the last thing we did here today, when Lynn had to take this front bumper off, it was these big, massive tubes. And as part of that, they had, kind of curved out and cut into the frame. So we just made some little patch pieces for the frame. And now all Len has to do is get this lined up and drill the hole, and his bumper mount is in the right place. So we're good to go there. So I think we'll leave it there. And Len, thanks a lot for a wonderful lunch today over at Thai Table. And where's Guy? Hey, Guy. Guy was working hard too, even though he's playing hurt. So, all right. We'll see you guys next time.